Welcome to the Purpose with Purvis show. I'm Jacklyn Purvis, and I'm here with my dad, my mentor, my business partner, Jamie Purvis. We're the father-daughter coaching team and co-founders of the Be-Do Have movement. Each week, we're going to be diving into real-life strategies, inspiring stories to help you dream big, find your purpose, and take actionable steps towards living the life you've always wanted. Welcome back to the Purpose with Purvis show. The Q4 final stretch of the year is here, and how you choose to show up right now matters for January. So we're going to be talking all about identity today, all about alignment, not just the strategies that you need to be doing. We're moving away from the doing, and we're going to talk about what most coaches don't, especially in the real estate space. And that's your identity, what it looks like, what it means, and how we figure that out for ourselves and really get strategic with how we're showing up and what's on your plate and the person that you're being, the energy that you have, all the good things that are never talked about.
And assumes you know, right?
Exactly. I've heard like identity and like that Be-Do Have thinking and frame of mind and method spoken about many times. And I do truly think it's overcomplicated. It's just think about how you're showing up right now. Like that's your being in a sense. Are you like, how did you show up at your first meeting that you had today? Were you frantic? Were you rushing? Were you calm? Were you at peace? That's your being. Like it's as simple as that. And it truly comes down to a choice and tapping into getting intentional with your being in the first place to change things at that sort of foundational core, just to open things up really lightly today.
You know, Jacklyn, on that point, I just went to pick up my dress shirt for the upcoming wedding, right?
Mm-hmm.
Store hours opens at 10 a.m. I drive 20 minutes to get there. 10:05, doors locked. WTF, right? It's like, I have to get back here. I've got my day planned. Like, where is he, right? So I noticed that feeling and the emotions and, starting to feel pissed off. Like, what's going on? And then my mind started to think, well, what if he doesn't get here? And then I have to go and come back. And I'm starting to percolate, right? And the feelings and the emotions are going. And I caught myself. It was like, breathe. I walked over, sat in the sun, just started putting on a podcast. 10 minutes later, I looked back, checked the door, not there. And I thought, okay, you know what? I've got 10 minutes. So I'm going to go get my car, bring the car, park in front of the store. If he's not here in 10 minutes, so be it. I've got to leave. And came back, parked there. 5 minutes later, he showed up, opened the door, went in, got my shirt, had a quick talk, jetted back home. But catching myself in that moment, I was letting the external factors affect my mindset, affect my emotions. And this builds on the identity. This is a pattern, right? Are we being controlled by our inner thoughts? So we control the world around us, emotional world, spiritual world, physical world, or are we letting other things affect us? And I'm seeing this often right now with realtors blaming the market for what is or isn't happening in their business. So identity, going back to who are you being, this is such an important factor. It's the foundation of what we teach. And I'm noticing more and more on every single conversation I'm having, the importance of even understanding what identity is and how that can run our lives.
I heard a clip, and I believe it was a child psychologist actually, but she was saying this to parents, and it was the way that she specifically raised her kids is all feelings are accepted, but not all behaviors are. And the purpose behind that, of course, if it's a little one, is that, okay, if they're having a tantrum, I'm not going to accept that type of behavior, but I'm going to listen to the feelings that caused that tantrum in the first place. But think of this for yourself. Think of this for yourself. Are you as an adult having a tantrum in your life over something that doesn't really matter? Like think about the behaviors that you're putting out there, the attitude that you have and that you hold. And just truly like reflect on that. Is there space for improvement in that area?
That's who you are, right? That's part of your identity, right? So just building on the theme of our session today, our call, this podcast is about helping people in a short period of time understand what identity is. Who are you being in those moments? And then catching yourself and understanding, okay, is this empowering me? Is it helping me? Or is this impacting me and affecting me in a negative way? And when we get clarity around that, then we can make a transition or a shift, transformation to the other side. If we don't even catch ourselves then we're living in a loop. And that's why we tend to get the same experience over and over. And it just becomes habitual.
And when we talk about being, what are some questions, I guess, that would help someone consider how they're showing up? Like, just off the top of my head, are you someone that follows through and does what you say you're going to do? Are you someone that remains calm in stressful situations? Are you someone that gets frantic or under stress in situations? What questions, Jamie, come to mind for you to help someone understand how they're showing up and how they're truly being?
Are you true to your word? Do you follow yourself? Do you give yourself guidance, and do you follow what you say you're going to do? Do you follow through to build on what you just shared? And I think that's a big one. Do you follow through? Do you commit? Do you do what you say you're going to do? When I'm speaking to somebody about what's going on in their business, tell me how you're feeling. I like to get into the feeling state, right? Because that often exposes who they are and their being. So it's slowing down to get into what's going on in their personal world. Business is a byproduct of our personal life experience. And if we're living in chaos, well, guess what? The business tends to be chaotic.
And it is taking it down to that deeper core. And so often people, of course, you come for that external, like, I want this income goal, I want this kind of growth in my business. But in order to get to that where it's consistent and not just something that you've achieved once, it does have to be a deeper core subconscious work. It does have to be from an identity level, changing how you think, act, and operate so that everything you're putting into place sticks longer than a month, right? So it is starting to notice, okay, how am I currently operating? That I can start to now lean into shifting.
And how you're operating is often in alignment to the choices you make or don't make. So the choices you're making, are they conscious choices? Have you made a conscious decision you're going to do this? Or is it a subconscious pattern? So you're letting the habit control what you do. 3 times a week I go to the gym, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Your alarm goes off. What's my conscious decision? Am I going to the gym, or am I going to roll over, hit the snooze, and sleep? I've made that conscious decision to follow through on what I said I was going to do. This is for me. Nobody knows what's going on. This is my own self-talk. And I prep myself by preparing everything I need to in the morning, so it's all on the dining room table, and all I have to do is get out of bed. Yet that mind shift that can play with us just lying there, I'm tired, I don't feel like it, I'm sore from yesterday, I have a busy day. Like, we can create the story. So that is all part of my identity of following through and doing what I say I'm going to do for me. Because that is a habit. And if I do it for me, I do it for other people. Like, our coaching clients know we're going to show up on time. We're on that call. It's in my calendar. There's life circumstance that is going to pull me off that would have to be very, very traumatic almost, because if not, I'm on that call. So my clients expect that. I notice patterns. People tend sometimes move the appointment. Something came up. Can I move this appointment? That's a pattern. That's an identity. You have an identity that basically you move things without following through. You don't stick to your word. That's a big one right now, Jacklyn. I think on basically every single call, it's, are you true to your word?
And that shows up for yourself, right? Like, are you following
Starts with us,
through?
right?
How many people do we talk to? They're like, okay, tomorrow's the day. My routine starts this, da, da, da. And then you wake up and you press snooze and da, 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 and it doesn't stick. And you're every single time losing confidence in yourself subconsciously. Like, that's not a choice. You're not deciding, oh, I'm not going to believe what I'm thinking or who I am anymore. But over time, it gets compounded to a point that it is showing up externally. It is showing up in your thoughts and your feelings about who you are as a human being.
It's actually created the identity of who you are right now. So who you are right now in your life is the identity you're living based on all the decisions you made consciously or unconsciously along the way to get you to this point. So you're right where you need to be. You're perfect where you are. If we want a different outcome, we're likely going to need to change things. And it starts not with what we're doing. It starts with who we're being, our thought process, noticing these patterns. We have to slow down and get really clear on who are you being. And for us, I find it very clear in business. If we set a new goal, right? We're setting a new income goal. That's what we want. That's what we desire for our selfish reasons, right? We get really clear on why we want that. So now we have that. And often there's a gap between where we are to where we want to go. So the being part, this identity, is we want to start thinking from the goal. As the person that's achieved the goal, who are you being? How are you feeling? What's your day look like? Right? You start to put yourself into that imagined reality in the future.
And it is getting to that place where you're living with intention. Something that I found when I first went through this beginning of September would be that in reflecting on who I was being and how I was showing up and the promises I was keeping to myself and the habits I had, I was really living in a place of survival mode. So I was just kind of coasting. Like, I wouldn't say it was bad, but it wasn't good. Just like lukewarm all the time. So how then do you break out of that and change into intentional living? Because that does how you're showing up personally then reflect in your business. And something I started to realize is my husband and I, we like to ask each other at the end of the day, like, what was the best part of your day? What was a win or a positive, something that stood out? And we had changed the question to what was the best part of your week? And it got to a point that we couldn't remember what we were doing. Like, we couldn't remember what was happening 2 days ago, because we were just living in this sort of survival thing where there wasn't any intention or any specific energy directed to what we were doing. So really just thinking for yourself, like, am I living or am I in survival mode right now? And a great way to consider that is, like, what did I eat for lunch 2 days ago? Because most of us can't answer that. So just starting to realize, like, am I living with my eyes closed, or can I start to bring more intention, bring more joy, bring more excitement into my life right now? And that does then show up in your business, because like attracts like. The energy that you're putting out is the energy that you're going to get back. So if you're noticing that there's unmatched energy or something isn't clicking right now, you're just not feeling good in your business, start to look at how you can reset yourself and show up in a certain way that's going to bring that energy back to you.
Self-reflection, right? Self-awareness. That's the first step.
And listening to this too, to really truly simplify this, is there one shift that you could make that would change how you're showing up for the rest of the year? So as we frequently see, especially for Q4, it's all about finishing strong. It's all about getting clear on exactly what your milestones are, what your metrics are, your strategy is for the rest of the year. And all of those things matter, but none of that is going to stick if you're not focused on what you're shifting in the person that you're being, the agent that you're being, the realtor that you're showing up as right now for your clients. If we were to answer that question for both of us as an example, because I think sometimes you can hear these questions, right? And it's like, where do I start with that? Or I need an example to sort of get to thinking about that. So if I were to ask you that, what's one shift in who you're being that would completely change how you finish this year? What would you say?
One shift in who am I being? I would say focused. I need to be focused every single day to follow the plan that I've put in place. So I've created this vision of my life for the next 90 days. I have my key activities planned. It's in my ideal calendar. And now being focused to follow through. And at the end of the day, reflect on, did I achieve what I said I was going to do? So it goes back to my word in that. So focus and being honoring my word to myself.
And that focus piece too, with that does come the clarity of the goal, does come, okay, what activities matter that I need to be focused on? But the key piece that Jamie just shared there is he doesn't just need to make the plan, he needs to stay focused on it in the first place in order to make that stick. So really thinking of that for yourself. And if I were to answer that question, what's one shift in who I'm being that would completely change how I finish this year? Mine would be staying on that theme of getting out of survival mode, would just be the intentionality behind it. So I work really well when I have clarity around what matters and what goals are being set. That's down to the basic of it. So yes, there's okay, I know what goals I'm working towards, but what are my daily intentions? And for me, I know I will wake up and just execute on a different level if I'm actually tracking that the night before. So that would be the activity that helps me do that. But it is getting super clear on, okay, what's going to move the needle for me most and how am I planning my day around that?
You're in your ideal state. Describe how you are feeling, living, and being in that moment.
I would say it's actually higher energy. I feel more excited. I wake up with direction. I know exactly what I'm doing. It just takes away this like extra sort of layer of franticness that otherwise can show up. And it truly is just operating from a place of like, I know what I need to do. And I want to wake up every day and get into that because I'm crystal clear on what it is.
And when you're clear on it, then you choose to do it. You get to do it, right? You don't have to do it. So it goes back to getting clear on where you're going, the reasons why that's important for you, and then stepping into the identity of the person that is going to complete what they start. And how do you reflect on at the end of the day, or how do you start your day? What tools do you use to help you get into that energetic state?
The tools that I use, double layered. I've recently put into place a great project management tool to make sure that everything's being tracked, but it's as simple as my planner. Like, what are the 3 things, and I do it the night before that I'm focused on the next day. Honestly, at the super simple level. There's other layers to that I do focus on. I do like to track wins and lessons and what that looks like. But at a very simple baseline level, like thinking of that BAM, right? That bare ass minimum version of that, what that looks like. It's writing out my 3 things that I need to do tomorrow, the night before.
And in that is focus, right? So see the alignment, and like we're both in the same place, maybe coming from different angles, but we're both in that same aligned space. And I think this is the beautiful part of, the last quarter of the year, the last 3 months of the year, is we know, okay, who do I need to be right now every single day, and just step into that identity and just be that person every single day and do it methodically and create the routine, which ultimately creates the habit. The outcome is exactly going to be everything you need to achieve the goal that you set for yourself. Because the plan was created by you, and these activities, right? These activities are going to be your key indicators, right?
And what would you say from some of the members or clients that you've spoken with in terms of what gets in the way of that sticking? Because so many people will set, I can even get into that, right? Where I really want to perfect this like beautiful detailed plan. And then it doesn't stick, or a week goes by and then you're completely behind and off track. What would you say is the biggest block there and barrier?
It's a lack of decision.
Okay.
We haven't decided that we're going to complete what we start. We haven't decided that we're a person of our word. And when we make decision, we cut from any other options. So let's make the decision, the activity will be done. So there's no option, right? Don't give an option for it. And we don't let time be the reason. I have a client that's struggling right now with a very simple activity compared to everything else. Like, he's lead generating, he's reaching out, he's doing cold calling, like he's doing the things that most people struggle with. And the activity he's struggling with is the one that's taking time to write 5 thank you cards and do a couple CMAs every day. And he knows, he's like, I don't know why I have this block. You just haven't made the decision. You're going to complete it. Like, it's as simple as that. You're doing all the heavy lifting is being done in this one activity that's at the end of the day. Maybe we need to look at, okay, how do we reframe that, put it in a different time where you have more energy so that it gets done every single day. But it boils back down to a decision. Until we decide we're going to move forward, we're going to stay stuck.
I think what blocks a lot of people with that is decision fatigue. And that's because all of a sudden, A, we're not clear on the number one thing that matters, and there's 10 things. And B, a lot of other things that aren't important, now we're making decisions about. I do find those are kind of the 2 things that come up. And this does tend to happen a lot for people that fall into the entrepreneur space, realtors, people that are making a bunch of mini decisions that you may not have to make if you're working at a company, because you're kind of being told what to do. So when you have that choice, there's so much freedom that comes with that. But I think that also can create that decision fatigue where it's like, I don't really even know which matters most. What's going to make the biggest difference here? So when things are pulling you in a million directions, how do you step back and figure out what's actually aligned with who you want to be and what else you can let go?
Looking at the desired goal, the desired outcome, and then asking yourself, right? If you don't have anybody around you that can support you, you ask yourself, what's the one thing that would help me? Or potentially, what's the one thing I'm not doing that I know that if I did it would help me, move me in the direction of achieving my goal? And I think if we're honest with ourselves, we all know the answer to that. Every realtor I speak to can tell me and lay out a general plan on how to achieve the goal they want. So the answers are there. So we maybe haven't taken the time to reflect on it. Maybe don't trust ourselves, or maybe we tried it, but we didn't follow through. Therefore, we don't have the success. And all these stories keep us stuck. But when you know where you're going and what that goal is, deep down, you know at least what the next step is. And it's going to go back to focus. It's going to be going back to clarity. How important is that decision to get the next step to achieve that goal? Getting clear on why you want the goal.
Or what you want.
I talked to somebody yesterday and she said to me that the reason she has the goal is because her manager said, you should go make this, you should be able to make this much money. So she set that as a goal. And I said, well, what's important about that goal? Why do you want it? Because my manager said. I said, well, then there's probably not going to be a lot of follow through to achieve that goal because it's not your goal. It's somebody else's goal that you've taken ownership of. So what do you want? And that's her work right now, is to get clear on exactly what does she want for her business in the next 12 months. So as we evolve our coaching together over this next now 12 months, we're going to co-create ideas on helping her stay focused, because now she knows why she wants that goal. And it's going to be much bigger than the goal that her manager set, because now it's her goal. Because ultimately what she wants, I think, is what a lot of people want, is freedom. Freedom of choice. More money creates that. And that's ultimately what's going to be her driver. But she will discover that as she goes through this process for herself.
And for anyone listening to For Yourself right now, that's one of the hardest questions to answer, about really thinking, what do you want by the end of 2025? Like, that's it. If you had to pick one thing, what is that thing? And it can't be three things. The goal is that's how we end the decision fatigue. That's how we get focused. That's how we stay clear. It's what's the one thing that you want no matter what. I heard another coach talking about this, and it was write the 10 things you want down. Just keep going, like go for a walk, put some good music on, get in a good flow. What are the 10 things you want? And look at that list and circle the number one, because that's all you're focusing on. Our brains can't compute that many things at one time. We can't retain information to get there. So when you have clarity on that one direction you're going on, that just changes the trajectory of everything.
You know, even on that point, reframing the word want with desire. What do you desire? Wanting can lead to lack. There's a bit of a mindset around that, versus what do you desire? Like deep down, anything was possible, what would you do? And it's going to cause you to think. But often what it does is it's going to pull back maybe something that you had wanted in the past or you desired in the past, yet maybe gave up on. You've gone a different direction. Maybe somebody else said you couldn't do it. Now wasn't the right time. Like all these stories, yet it's something that's inside. So I think that's key, is to go inside, look in the mirror. And a coach helped me with this one time. When you look in the mirror, like look in your eyes, look into your soul as you're looking in the mirror. Because that's the only person that you need to worry about, is that person in front of you. And you're going to start to notice like things are going to percolate. And we just want to allow them to flow. We want to just surrender, not question it, not wonder how it's going to happen, just get into that energetic state. And that becomes an identity of a person that has a desire, and they're going to let that be the driving factor, their light for themselves in their life. And when you decide that that's going to be your journey, you're going to do whatever it takes. The doing part is easy. It's getting clear on what is the goal for yourself, where do you want to be, and then ultimately, who do you need to become? So this is what I want, this is what I desire, this is what is the one activity I know I should be doing, and then step into the identity of the person that's doing it, that's already has that access. So then who do I need to be today? And you're going to notice like focus shows up constantly. I need to be committed. I need to follow my word. There's going to be a theme, and we're all going to have our own theme, but start to go through this for yourself and notice your patterns, notice your theme.
And some great resources to help stick on that in terms of embodying certain activities, showing up in a certain way, practicing your being. I'll put this below, but that's our 5-star morning template. And it's really a guidebook to help you curate your own ritual for how you're showing up in the day. It's really fantastic as well because it doesn't have to be the morning. Not everyone loves doing that in the morning. Some people like doing it actually at the end of the day, but it's just how are you curating and crafting time in your schedule to make sure that you're reflecting on your being specifically. There's some activities in there and different ways to do that, but you get to pick what that looks like for you. So that's a fantastic template for this. And if you're someone that's like, hey, I want to jump into this, I want some support, I want sort of a roadmap to figure out, okay, how do I take what I want, who I want to be, plus where I want to go, what I want my business to look like, how do I do all of those things, and you're looking for that action and that support, that community along the way, I invite you to check out our Repeatable Revenue Roadmap program. It's all laid out. We have taken out all of the guesswork in that, and it is truly the only business and life coaching program I've seen specific to real estate agents where you're getting that coaching support along the way, you're getting that community. So you're getting that growth in your embodiment of how you're showing up, plus in your business.
I think, Jacklyn, when I really reflect on that, it's an identity program that's been crafted and created for realtors. Mm-hmm. So it's an identity shifting, identity coaching program that is in alignment for realtors to help them get to that next level of success, whatever that might be for them. And it's just been crafted together. So it's both personal life coaching aligned with business strategy for realtors. And that's why we're seeing the results we're seeing. We're seeing our clients have incredible results in a real short 90, 120 day period.
And it is that income growth goal. It's to get to that next point in your business. But the amount of agents we've had come through the program, I will never forget one specifically that said she had been seeing this therapist for years and said she's seen more of a difference in her than she ever has. And she was like, what did you do? And she's like, well, I'm in this business coaching course. And it's just changed her entire life, because it is going so deep rooted into those foundational core levels of how you tick, how you operate as a human being to get that growth in your real estate business.
If you're feeling there's something that's holding you back, blocking you to get to that next level, this is the program. I really deep down believe it's something that we've created, and my 40 years of real estate experience, life experience, combined with Jacklyn, everything you've been through and your transformational journey, discovering, self-discovering, creating your new identity, encapsulated all that into a specific module-based program.
So check that out. That'll be in the show notes. Thank you so much for tuning in with us today. We invite you to subscribe for the latest episodes first, and we'll talk to you soon.